Welcome back, everybody, to the Me McCall Wood Shop. Them drawers you just seen, those were my first drawers ever. And they were made out of the scraps that I had left over from this here assembly table. Now, my first drawers were a lot like my first marriage. They were an absolute disaster. They were not well thought out, and they were very dangerous. See, these drawers have brad nails sticking out everywhere, and they do not function well. So today I'm going to show y'all how to make some drawers out of some pallet wood in my favorite style. Now, I have used this style several times in a couple of projects. My entertainment stand for one, and the other one being my bathroom vanity. Now, these drawer types came about because of this bathroom vanity. See, my wife wanted a barn door on the vanity, which is a really cool thought, but she also wanted drawers in the vanity. Now that causes a bit of a problem because you need drawer pulls on drawers. Or you could cut out a slot or a hole. I don't like the way the slots and the holes look, so I wanted to create a way to inset the drawer pulls but have the drawers flush with the edge of the vanity. And that is how I came up with this design. So I'm going to show you two different ways to make them out of pallet wood or scraps you have left over in your shop. So let me get off this stool. We'll go show you some stuff, and yeah, hey, hit that subscribe button while you're sitting there. Yeah, I got lots of stuff coming out. So the first thing that I need to show y'all is the opening on which these drawers reside. Now, as you can see, there are two runners that the top drawer sits on, and the bottom drawer just rests on that shelf kind of structure thingy. But like I said, not very well thought out. Moving on, to prep these pallet boards, of course they need to hit the joiner, the planer, the table saw, the miter saw, all the normal things that you would have to do with pallet wood. So once that's all taken care of, we can move on to the drawer building part. Now these are 5.5-inch pallet boards, and they started at about 1 inch in thickness. I've taken them all down to about 3/4 in thickness. So what we have to do is figure out how we're going to put them in this opening that I so poorly thought out in the beginning. So my best idea to fit these drawers into such a bad place was to put a groove in the sides of the drawers. That way I could run them on a dowel. So I put a bull nose in my router table, and I realized that wasn't going to work as well because I didn't know how I was going to get that dowel on either side of such a small space. So I went to the table saw and I actually cut a dado in the sides of the drawers. You'll see that here in a few minutes. But anyway, once I got that all done, then I could start the assembly of the drawers. So once you've got your pallet wood all milled to the size you need, next comes the intimidating part. Now, if this is your first time making drawer boxes, don't worry, we got it covered. Well, the first thing you got to do, you got to measure your drawer openings. Okay, you need width, you need height, and you need the depth. Okay, 3 very important measurements. Now, once you got that figured out, you want to take just a little bit off. And that is where my style comes in very handy for beginners. And I'll explain later. But anyway, you take just a little bit off of what your opening is, because I am not good enough to make a piston fit drawer, and that's kind of what I want these to look like. I want them to fit very snug, but I want them to work, because if they swell up, they ain't coming out. So, you want them to look very good on the front, but you want them to slide very good in the back. So, what I do is, after I have everything cut, I go ahead and I cut the groove for my drawer bottoms. Now, you can do this in many ways. You can put a dado stack in, or you can take several passes on a regular saw blade. For this one, I just took several passes on the regular saw blade. It was easier and didn't feel like putting a dado stack in. Once you got that done, and you know where your groove is going to be, then you want to go and you want to put your pocket holes in. That way, you know where your groove is, and you don't run your pocket hole into your groove. It's kind of a pain in the ass to do. So, once that's all done, guess what? You get to assemble your drawers. Now you could use glue and pocket holes. I like to use CA glue and stick my pieces down before I pocket hole. Because when you start pocket holing stuff, you'll learn that the pocket holes like to shift. So if I put the CA glue down, first it sticks it in place and holds it there until I can get the pocket holes set. Once that's done, we can slide the drawer bottom right in and put the front on. Now this front is just another piece of pallet wood. And we're going to get to the decorative part. Hold on, I promise. Once we get the front of this on, everything is secure. We can test it, make sure it fits on our drawer slides. Now, I didn't show you me putting the drawer slides in because getting the camera and my fat head in this little compartment, it just wasn't working very well. So, once I got my drawer box fit and it's sliding the way I need to see it, then we're going to decorate this thing. We're going to give it a pretty drawer front. And I do that, I cut some 1" by 1" cedar. This pile of garbage back here I've been working on for 3 or 4 videos now. And I cut it to the exact size of the opening. Now, why would I do that? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm getting there. And I throw some miters on it. It'll have a nice pretty mitered edge. It'll look good. Once I have my miters cut, I just brad nail it on with some glue. It holds it in place. I give the glue a little while to dry, and then I sand it. And I don't just sand everything flush, because if you sand it all flush, it's not going to work. You want to have that little bit of lip overhanging your drawer box. And then you're going to sand it at an angle. You know, you got your drawer box, you got your angle from your front lip. And what it'll do is it'll let that lip sit nice and tight for your reveal. It's probably not the best way to build a drawer box, but it looks great. And you don't have to be a genius to figure out all the measurements to make a piston fit drawer. You don't have to hit it with a plane. You don't have to sand the crap out of it. All you do is just sand that outside edge, and it looks fantastic, and it fits great. All right, on to the next type of drawer, which is kind of the same thing, but it has a solid face. Again, with this cedar. We make that the exact same size of the opening. We pocket hole the 3 sides of the drawer box right straight to the pretty drawer face, and then we sand that to an angle as well. That way it slides nice and tight into that opening. Again, maybe not the best way to make drawers, but if you're very new to this, it's okay. Nobody's going to know the difference. Those ugly ass drawers that I had in there were in there for 7 years. That lasted longer than my first marriage. And they were horrible, just like my first marriage. But the fact is, nobody knew how bad they were except me. And the reason that they were in there so long is because they always worked. They held stuff. They did what they were supposed to do. They were irritating to open, but I wouldn't open them every day. It just held small bits and bobs for my router that I didn't use very often. Now, the same bits and bobs are in drawers that work nice. So, I guess your first projects aren't going to be great. And your first projects, like my first projects, are going to teach you how to make better projects. Those drawers taught me not to use garbage scrap wood for my personal things. My first marriage taught me all the things to look for in my second marriage. My second marriage has lasted almost 18 years now. 17 years. Yeah, it'll be 17 years in July. And it's great. We have fun. We love each other. And I feel like these drawers, they're going to last a long time if I keep them. By the way, I'm not going to keep them. I'm going to be rebuilding this assembly table at some time, because when I built this assembly table, I was still very new at woodworking. And there are a lot of things that I would like to see in a new assembly table. So, get in your shop, build some crappy stuff, that way you can learn to build better stuff. And, well, I'll see y'all in the next video. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, and come back for more. All right, see y'all later.